The cafeteria of Station Proxima buzzed with the usual afternoon chaos. Dozens of species mingled at tables designated by atmospheric preference and dietary requirements. The Velcrons sat in their pressurized dome, consuming crystallized minerals. The Thaxians hovered near the nitrogen vents, absorbing gaseous nutrients through their translucent membranes. In the corner, pressed against the wall near the waste disposal units, crouched a small figure that nobody acknowledged. Her name was Zira, though few bothered to learn it. She was Netherii, a species whose homeworld had been consumed by its dying star 3 cycles ago. The survivors scattered across the galaxy, refugees without representation, without advocates, without rights in the Galactic Council. She hadn't eaten in 4 days. The station's meal allocation system required biometric registration, but Netherii DNA wasn't in the database. The bureaucratic process to add a new species took months, maybe years. Nobody seemed particularly motivated to expedite it for a handful of refugees. Zira's lavender skin had dulled to an ashen gray. Her 6-fingered hands trembled as she clutched her identification chip, worthless plastic that granted her nothing. A group of Velcron juveniles passed by, their crystalline bodies refracting the harsh station lighting. One noticed her and chittered to its companions. They laughed, the sound like wind chimes in a storm. One tossed a mineral shard at her feet, inedible to her biology, an insult delivered with casual cruelty. She didn't move, didn't react. She'd learned that reactions only encouraged them. Hey, the voice was soft, speaking standard galactic with an unusual accent. Zira looked up to see a human, one of the newer species to join the Galactic Council, barely a century into their membership. They were considered primitive by most station residents, their planet a backwater, their technology derivative. The human was female, young, wearing the gray uniform of station maintenance. A name tag read Martinez. She carried a tray loaded with food, real food, not the nutrient paste most species consumed. "You're Netherii, right?" Martinez asked, crouching down to Zira's level. "I heard your people can eat similar stuff to us. Carbon-based proteins, and all that." Zira stared. Was this another joke? Another humiliation? Martinez set the tray down and pushed it toward her. "Come on, eat with me." I have no credits," Zira whispered, her voice hoarse from disuse. "Did I ask for credits?" Martinez pulled out a second container from her bag. "Look, I packed extra. My abuela, my grandmother, she always taught me to make extra food. You never know who might need it," she'd say. She smiled. Guess she was right. Zira's hands shook as she reached for the container. Inside was something Martinez called rice and beans, along with warm flatbread and roasted vegetables. The scent alone nearly made her weep. "Why?" Zira asked, unable to comprehend the kindness. Martinez shrugged. "Where I come from, we have a saying, there's always room at the table. My family fled violence 2 generations ago. Different planet, same story." She opened her own container and took a bite. "Besides, eating alone sucks. Company makes everything taste better." As Zira ate, slowly at first, then with desperate hunger, other humans began to notice. One by one, they approached. A maintenance worker brought fruit. An engineer offered protein bars. A doctor checked Zira's vital signs and promised to help navigate the bureaucratic maze. The Velcron juveniles watched in confusion. The Thaxians observed with their compound eyes, calculating, reassessing. Humans, they realized, operated on a logic that didn't compute in Galactic Council mathematics. It wasn't profitable to help. It wasn't strategically advantageous. It wasn't politically expedient. But it was human. Martinez sat with Zira until she finished eating, sharing stories about Earth, about family, about the strange human insistence that nobody should face hardship alone. "Thank you," Zira whispered, tears streaming down her face. "Thank my abuela," Martinez said with a grin. "And tomorrow, you eat with all of us. We're starting a new tradition, lunch at the human table. Everyone's welcome." Word spread through the station's refugee population like wildfire. By the next day, the human section of the cafeteria was the most crowded. Species that had been invisible suddenly had somewhere to belong. The Galactic Council couldn't understand it, but they learned soon enough what made humanity dangerous. Not their weapons, not their technology, but their stubborn, illogical, beautiful refusal to look away from suffering. One meal at a time, they were changing the galaxy.